Brian Voss had not seen his sister in 4 years. She walked into their mother's hospital room on a Tuesday, carrying flowers in one hand and a leather folder in the other. By Thursday, their dying mother had signed away everything. Brian did not find out until after the funeral. Eleanor Voss was 81 years old and had built a quiet fortune in Sacramento, California. She had worked as a pharmacist for 35 years, invested steadily, and owned her home outright, along with 2 rental properties and a retirement account. Her estate was valued at $5.5 million. Her son, Brian, was 52 and had lived 10 minutes from Eleanor for 2 decades. He managed her finances informally and had been by her side through a difficult cancer diagnosis in early 2022. Her daughter, Patricia, 55, had moved to Arizona years earlier and visited rarely. Eleanor had told Brian privately more than once that everything would go to him when she was gone. When Eleanor's condition worsened in June of 2022, Patricia suddenly appeared. What she had actually done was contact a man named Russell Hartman, who advertised himself online as an estate consultant. Russell Hartman held no law license. He had been sued twice in Arizona for unauthorized practice of law and had simply moved his operation to avoid scrutiny. Patricia and Russell visited Eleanor's hospital room on a Tuesday while Brian was at work. Eleanor was heavily medicated and drifting in and out of consciousness, a fact documented clearly in her nursing notes. Russell presented a revocable living trust, transferring all of Eleanor's assets to Patricia. He had a notary waiting outside the room. Eleanor signed the document Thursday morning. The notary never assessed whether she understood it. Eleanor passed away the following Monday. Brian learned about the trust 3 weeks later when Patricia's own attorney contacted him about settling what remained outside the trust. He retained attorney Howard Lynn, a trust litigation specialist with over 20 years of experience. Howard requested Eleanor's complete hospital records. The documentation was damning. Eleanor had received significant pain medication hours before each visit, and multiple nursing entries described her as confused and difficult to rouse during the exact window the trust was signed. Russell Hartman also uncovered her history of unauthorized legal practice within days. The hearing was held before the Honorable Judge Diane Castellano at the Sacramento County Superior Court. Howard presented the hospital records, expert testimony on Eleanor's medication effects, and Russell Hartman's public record in Arizona. The attending nurse testified she had raised concerns to her supervisor, but had not been authorized to intervene. Patricia's attorney argued Eleanor had verbally expressed a desire to provide for her. Howard asked the court to consider what those final wishes were worth, documented by an unlicensed man with a history of exploiting exactly this kind of vulnerability. Judge Castellano voided the trust entirely, ruling Eleanor had lacked capacity and that the circumstances indicated undue influence facilitated by an unlicensed practitioner. She ordered the estate distributed according to Eleanor's original 2016 will, naming Brian as beneficiary. She referred Patricia for elder financial abuse and Russell Hartman to both California and Arizona authorities. Patricia was convicted and sentenced to 4 years of supervised probation with full restitution. Russell Hartman remains under an active warrant. Brian kept his mother's home exactly as she left it. He still finds her reading glasses in places she always left them, on the windowsill, beside her favorite chair. Eleanor Voss spent a lifetime building something steady for her family. It took 3 days and an unlicensed stranger to nearly take it all away. The court made sure it did not work.
Would you have suspected something the moment a fake lawyer showed up at the hospital? Tell us in the comments. And if this story moved you, subscribe to Court of Shadows for more courtroom drama stories every week.